Well, my name is Tony Ferraiolo. I am a youth advocate, author, and inspirational speaker, I guess you can say. I'm also the director of Healthcare Advocates International Youth and Family Program. And I have worked with Eric in the past on a short that we did called Oakley's Story.
My name's Eric Carson. I'm a special education teacher by day and by training, and I guess I would say, aspiring filmmaker, documentarian. Still very much amateurish in it, but I really enjoy the projects that I've worked on with Tony and with other people I've met in the community as a result. I teach students with special needs.
Tony, let me toss one to you first. The three subjects that you chose for this film are not only moms who are concerned about their trans kids, but these are women who have done some remarkable things in the pursuit of protecting their kids. So beyond the scope of what you have in the short, tell me about Melissa and Melanie and Sarah.
Yeah, so we'll start with Sarah Salato, who, when I met Sarah, she reached out because her son was questioning their gender and really having a hard time with it. And I remember the conversation I had with her. It was like, Catholic, Republican, and conservative, and I almost fell off my chair. But after talking to her and really getting her to know the trans community, that her son, really deserved to live the life that he knew he needed. And from that, she just took that. She supported her child. She started Alex Inc., which I think they give like $2,000 grants out to people for anything they need for their transition. But she also started the Guilford Pride. No, there was never a Guilford Pride. We just had the third one.
Third or fourth year?
Third. It was the third one.
Yeah.
And I swear there had to be at least 3,000 people there. So I've seen this over the 20 years that I've been working with these families, that you will have parents that are not on board, and then boom, they just go at it. They go at it. And we love that she's an ally. And then Melissa Combs, I tell everybody there's got to be 5 of her, but she only tells us about 1. This woman has gotten so much done.
She is a force of nature.
She's a force of nature. Yeah. So the Out Accountability Project is something that she created to make sure that schools are held accountable for LGBTQ plus students. And again, she came from personal experience with her child being bullied, and really the school not doing anything about it, to what she's created today is amazing. Melanie is the mom who has the youngest. I think her child is 6 or 7, and she's a powerhouse. And she's actually the facilitator for the parent group that I've started in 2008. So she came on board recently, and she facilitates that parent group brilliantly. So those are the 3 moms. Eric,
visually, what did you want viewers to walk away from here? We've got the talking head sections with the moms. They're so wise and so heartfelt. But visually, what did you want to make sure that the viewers saw?
I think we went into this project thinking like it was to be 2 parts. So there's a pre-election set of interviews with the parents, and a post-election. And I think we all went into the pre-interview saying, boy, it better be coming back together for this post-election interview and talking about positive things and how we dodged a bullet. And I think
we caught that bullet, really. we caught it good.
No, we definitely did. I remember talking with Tony before we were going to do we were getting ready to do the post interviews, and we were just all still in shock. We did a pretty good job about the turnaround time on when the election happened to when we did those. So it was all like really raw still. I feel like some of the rawness, for me at least, has worn off a little bit. So visually I talked about like what else do we want to bring to this? What can we use for B-roll? What do we want it to look like other than just interviews? And I think partly because of the turnaround and the shock, and in our discussion about what it would look like visually, we decided to really stick with more of just the interview style of the piece. And it's all shot in the same location for the majority of the film. You'll see excerpts from the part 1. We're at a different location, but for the most part, we just we shot everything in the same 2 rooms and, changed locations in the room to make it, to at least give it a little bit of variety. But
yeah, it was very important to me that the raw emotion was captured, that I wanted the audience to see the fear that these moms were feeling. And I think Sarah says it very nicely. She says, my kid thinks the whole country hates them right now. That was real. And it was real for kids, LGBTQ kids. And it was certainly real for me as a trans adult, that it was scary and terrifying. So to have that type of interview where we're really focusing on the raw emotion. And I think the after election, it was done 1 to 2 days after the election. We didn't wait a week. I scheduled them to be there like on the 21st or 22nd. I mean, we needed to capture that because from the beginning, that's what this was about. And we were hoping we were going to be like blowing up balloons and saying, hey, look, we won. But it wasn't the case.
It was right away. And I remember one of the reasons Melissa wasn't able to come at the same day was that she was involved with some of the after effects. And
yeah,
everybody was, it was all hands on deck in terms of people advocates in the community like you and Melissa, Sarah, etc. I feel like you were all just doing a million things at once, and we squeezed it in. So
yeah, there was a lot of people reaching out that were really in a bad space, and they're still. I mean, I don't want to minimize that. It's still happening, with this big, beautiful bill passing through the House. I mean, people are scared.
One of the things that this project speaks to is allyship, because some people out there are seeing that this is unjust, the way trans people are being treated, and particularly trans youth. What can I do? What is the nature of allyship in this awful time?
It's showing up.
Yeah.
It's showing up, and we need you to show up. It's showing up at the Capitol. If you can't be there to testify in person, it's sending in a testimonial through their website. It's showing up, and we have to stick together. And our allies, we rely on our allies more now than ever.
My relationship with Tony and the work that we've done, very much, one of the, I would say, most important parts of my life nowadays. And we've been working on projects like this 2 years, maybe a little more than 2 years. My daughter, who is the reason why I even know Tony, my wife and I know Tony, her experience and coming out as trans to us over the pandemic, and as a family trying to find our own understanding with that. And we were always accepting, but we still needed support. For me, that experience, it's made me want to, what Tony gave us in that time with our family, it's made me want to be even more of an ally and do things that whatever I can to help and support the community myself. I want to pay it forward and help spread the message. And I think that I agree, Claire, a lot of people, I think, and what I'm seeing at least is a lot of people are pushing back against all of the hatred. And I think that most people are opposed to being hateful toward a single population, and most people aren't hateful. So, we are seeing allies stand up. I was never afraid or ashamed to talk about my daughter's experience, but I was private about it. But since the election at my school, there's people who I never would have thought of being so supportive are, banding together, and we're looking to protect our own children in my school who either identify as trans or present in some ways that make us think that let's just keep an extra eye on this kid and make sure that they're getting all the help and love and support that they need. And that's kind of the biggest thing I think that the election did for us where I live, is that people who would not maybe have been allies, maybe I wouldn't have been an ally in this way if it weren't for my daughter, but it's bringing everybody up.
In the remaining time that we have, let me bring us back to the film with a hypothetical. What would this film have been like if it were called Three Papas?
Well, let me just say that, full disclosure here, we weren't targeting mamas. We asked parents if they wanted to be involved, but only the moms said they would be, right?
And I'm just saying, kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Eric, you're a papa, so.
It's something that I've talked about with Tony. Tony knows of a documentary that kind of explores that issue already.
I don't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
I know who you're talking about, because he actually
about
was a parent that went to our group that actually is the producer and director.
And kind of like that was coming out.
Dads. Isn't it called Dads?
I remember the whole reason we were even talking about that is that I obviously would love to do a story like that. It's just harder to find the fathers to step up. It's not going to be like an on-call, like, hey, dads, who wants to do this? It's going to require me to reach out one-to-one, in person. It's me being a little bit more vulnerable with other dads, I guess, too. I don't know. It's just so hard to try to generalize like what a group of dads speaking on the same topic would be. I think it would probably be me being a dad myself, a little bit more like maybe fathers' experiences with how they are handling it, either in terms of opening up to other people about it or finding connections with other people. Because I think that's what dads don't do, is like, we don't connect with other dads about stuff like that. It's cliche, but it's 100% true, I think.
Well, hopefully as this film gets shown, as you incorporate it into your educational efforts, it could have that effect. Maybe it could encourage fathers to step up as well, because I think that's equally important.
So equally important.
Yeah, 100%.